Welcome back to Weekend Movie Bros, where I am Jacob. I am Jacob. Hold on, let me figure out the right way. Oh, wait, no. That is idiot.
And I am Zach, and that is Magic Blue.
That is a really obscure joke. If you don't know, I'm very sorry.
Even I don't get the joke.
The Magic Blue?
Oh, I thought you meant like why you were singing. I'm like, I don't even get no.
No, just wanted to sing. No joke
I
really
always
needed.
look forward to when you say the opening to the show because it's always different. It's never one the same. It's a little blueprint for each episode.
And you know I change it for all the trailer reactions and stuff as well. I change it
Really?
for every trailer reaction.
You are
The
too
last
consistent.
the last like three or four were all straight country. Like I had this like very bold country accent in a lot of them.
Man, anywho,
Just for funsies. This is a podcast. This is June part 2. You don't have to see part 1 to be able to watch part 2. It's just these are the next set of stories and for the month of June. How we do our podcast over here on the channel is we cover the month before. So we're in July, so we're covering June. In August, we'll cover July, so forth and so forth. I'd also like to mention if you want to listen to it audibly, the audios come out on 2 days before the video. So if you want to hear it early and get all the inside scoop, that's where to go. We also do other fun stuff over there, such as we're going to be covering the Emmy nominations, and that should be really funny because we'll see. We'll talk about that in this podcast. Actually, it's one of the things
yes,
in
we
our
will.
list. Interestingly enough,
So you'll get the down low of why it might not go though.
yeah, he tried, but it didn't work out. All right. With that being said, are you ready, Zachary, to get started? I have a feeling this one might be a tad bit longer than the other one.
I'm ready to roll out, Jake.
I'll take it. We're going to talk about Transformers Rise. We're going to talk about Transformers Rise of the Beast spoiler talk. To be fair, and I'm going to reiterate this, we are doing a live commentary. The commentary should be up on the channel before this podcast even sees the light of day. I will link it in case you want to see our reactions to this movie. Zachary's seen it like 20 times already, but I personally only seen it once. Yeah, I've only seen it once though, so mine's going to be more genuine. I also saw this when I was really tired. I'm sorry, it's just the honest truth. I'm also.
What do you mean mine won't be genuine?
It's just mine's going to be more like reactatory because I really don't remember. Like I remember
Oh,
parts.
you mean the reaction, not the review. I get you.
Yes, yeah.
I think I'll be the most genuine review.
For me personally, review wise, I don't really have a lot to say. I like the performances quite a bit. I feel like these are some of the best human characters Transformers has done. I didn't really care as much for the third act as I was hoping, but I was really tired by the time we got to the third act. So it could just simply be the fact that my brain was like, please go to sleep, and I just was not allowing it. I also can't say that I really enjoyed a lot of the visuals. I feel like this one particularly, with not so much the Transformers themselves, I feel like that was really strong. I
They
remember
look
the
all
opening
great.
being really strong as well. But I would say I remember the opening being very shocking. What happens in the opening?
I'll tell you.
Oh my god, it's the planet. He eats
Uh
the
huh.
planet. Oh my god, that was so shocking. Never mind, that was phenomenal. Okay, but my brain had to register. But I would say some of the setting locations and stuff, in my personal opinion, seemed a little bit more muted, not as fun and exciting as some of the other ones. I think they're still trying to grab their footing. Then I will mention it here because this is a spoiler talk, which means this is for spoiler words. The G.I. Joe reference at the very end of the movie, yeah, I went there. Very shocking. I did not see it coming.
Jacob, my man, it's not a reference. It's an idea of what's going to be going on in this Hasbro universe.
Yeah,
And let me tell you,
was quite the shockness. So that's my opinion on Transformers. I think I'd probably rate it probably like a 3.5. Um, based on sleeping review, it's probably like a 3.5. We'll see what it ends up being after we get done watching it as a movie commentary, which is really fun. I'm really looking forward to the movie commentary. It did not make just what Zachary knew ahead of time my top 10 list of the year.
okay, that's fine. So I called my. I remember back in March when my brother texted me after I was seeing Scream 6, and his utteral guttural reaction to to that movie was me happy calling him after coming out of a movie, even more so than Spider Man. This movie, I needed to be good. Just not good. I needed it for my sanity to be good. And Stephen Capel fucking Jr., I love you. I love you so much. This movie is perfect. It has issues for sure. It's a Transformers film. You have to really believe in order to believe it. But for me, this is the best live action Transformers movie we've ever had. I have seen it 7 times. I can say it now. It's better than Bumblebee for me. I absolutely fucking adore this movie. They finally got my robots right, and it makes me so happy. So happy. The opening to this movie is not as good as Cybertron. Cybertron is a whole other level. That'll never get beat. That's a moment I'll remember forever in my heart when I see it in the theater. But fucking Unicron, man, looked so good and so scary. I was terrified for the animals. I was like, they're not gonna make it. They're gonna kill them all. It's called Rise of the Beast. We won't see any. Nope, they make it. Thank God. Um, but yeah, fucking Noah, Elena, his brother, they are all awesome. Anthony Ramos, Dominic Fishback, both do a fantastic job in this movie as their characters. The other thing I love about the human characters, there's no fucking relationship. They're just friends on a mission together. There didn't need to be romance. There didn't need to be love. They just need to be friends on a mission, and it was fucking awesome not to worry about that shit.
I'm
Also,
not
R
shocked
fifty
Zachary's
seven.
against love right now. Just had to
No,
put that out there.
I love love, but there didn't need to be love in this movie. It was always a hallmark of the other ones. It didn't need to be there. But the other thing, this is an hour and 57 minutes. It has no fat. It just moves, and I love it for that. The robots. Can we talk about the robots for a second, Jacob? Let's talk about the robots. The robots are so good. Pete Davidson was the highlight of this movie. I was expecting him going, "Hey, I'm Pete Davidson. I'm a robot." No, he committed. He loved the role, and you can tell his mirage is the funniest thing about this movie. Every line he gives is so good. Friends, you are inside me. So good. Fucking Bumblebee. For the amount of screen time that he's in, everybody's like, "Why isn't Bumblebee enough?" He got his own solo movie. Leave him alone. We got his character development in spades. He's fine. Let the man take a breather. Well, he didn't breathe, but let him be there. RC. Finally, we got RC, and RC was perfect. She was great. It was everything I wanted from RC. Wheeljack. Wheeljack. Okay. Listen, I'm all for character changing. That's fine. Um, Wheeljack did not feel like Wheeljack. He was the only one. Um, this felt very Michael Bay to me because if you remember in Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles, Donnie had the glasses and the suspenders. Wheeljack has the glasses and the mimicking of suspenders. I get it. He's the nerd. You don't have to really set that out there. They don't do anybody else but him. And he also didn't get a lot to do, so Wheeljack's really not in the movie, so I'm not that upset. Um, Optimus Prime. Peter Cullen is 82 years old. He has been playing the role of Optimus Prime since 1983. He got casted in 82. And the man still can make you feel inspirational when he talks. His speeches are just, they're awesome. And him countered against Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, perfect. But the highlight of the Maximals for me is not him. It is Michelle Yeoh as Air Razor. I was fully expecting this to be a phone-in performance, and it wasn't. She gave her all to Air Razor because sometimes when you get these people in these Transformers movies, it can either be all in or they can be like, "I'm part of the Transformers universe now, yay!" And that's some of the performance we've gotten from the robots. No one in this movie did that. Nobody. I was really upset Rhinox and Cheetor didn't get a lot of screen time or talking. You know, let my man speak. Cheetor got a lot to say. I get he didn't, but let him speak. Um, I have now seen the alternate opening. I've seen an alternate moment with Noah and Elena in the temple, and I've seen the alternate ending. They made the right call in every aspect. The alternate opening of this movie was too dark. The alternate ending of this movie is too bleak. It does not fit the movie. Therefore, they made the right decision. Um, People know about it. There was a talk of a robot called Transit that was supposed to be in this movie to fight Optimus. He was cut from the movie because in the alternate opening, you see Optimus kill Transit and throw him into the New York River on top of a body upon body upon body of the Decepticons he's killed to look for a ship. And to me, that's too dark for this movie. This movie is not Michael Bay. It's not that dark. It doesn't go there. There's a lot of death in this movie, but it's not that dark. And then the alternate ending is that instead of Optimus getting sucked into a wormhole and being saved, he gets sucked into the wormhole, and we see him with Unicron. That's the alternate ending. I think that would have just relied too much on Transformers. The GI Joe thing, Paramount, Hasbro, you ballsy motherfuckers, because have any of the GI Joe movies worked at all for you, Jacob? Any of them?
I had fun with them. No, I take that back. I really like Snake Eyes.
Okay, financially, Jacob, did GI Joe
No,
do well at all?
no. Well, GI Joe, the original one that they did do
Ri-
pretty well, which is why it
Rise
got
of
a
Cobra,
sequel.
and
But the sequel did not do well, and Snake Eyes
critically,
obviously did not do well.
critically, has GI Joe done well with the critics?
No, no,
Not once.
not one.
In any of them, including the animated movie, it is not critically well. And so they're like, you know what? We're gonna smack this at the end of our movie and see how people react. My theater was either clapping or booing when this happened because no one knew how to feel. And
It went over pretty well online, though. To be
yeah,
fair,
it did. I think people are understanding more what they're trying to do because GI Joe and Transformers have crossed over before. This isn't new. It's new for the general audiences, but for nerds, we've been seeing this in like 1992 in the comic books. This is not new. How they're gonna do it, I don't know. I'm so curious.
I'm very curious to see if they recast everybody again, or
Mm-hmm.
they go all with the people from Snake Eyes, like bring them back for the GI Joe members. I wouldn't be mad at that, just because I
Neither would
really
I.
really did enjoy Snake Eyes.
The only reason I don't think they would is because people did not like his Snake Eyes at all, and I think if there was one person they could bring over from Snake Eyes, honestly, it'd be Storm Shadow of the bunch and recast everybody else. Because the benefit with Snake Eyes is that if they go off the comic books and cartoon, Snake Eyes don't talk.
Yeah,
So you can really recast him as anybody. He can be a white guy under there, and no one would know the difference. We would know because of casting, obviously, but I'm just saying they wouldn't know it.
that's a weird
It was a weird
proclamation
one.
to make.
Samara Weaving, I think, was great as Scarlet, but she didn't get enough to do. So they could recast her if they want to. I don't like the Baroness in Snake Eyes,
Yeah, I
so
didn't either. I didn't either. That'd be like one of
keep
those people that I would agree, but yeah.
keep Storm Shadow. I like Storm Shadow a lot in Snake Eyes. Keep him. He's cool. Um, the action in this movie, much like Bumblebee, you can see what's going on. You can see who. But here's the biggest thing about this movie: you can see who's who. Like that's RC because she's small. That's Rhinox because he's a rhino. That's Optimus Primal because he's a monkey. You can clearly see who's who because they're all bright and colorful and they stand out. The action sequences are so pleasant to watch. This is funny. This has really good heart. Anthony Ramos and his brother have great chemistry together. So when the moment happens with him on the radio, you're with it, you're in it. And the big moment of this movie for me is not GI Joe. The moment for me is when people, whether or not like this movie. Oh, you're not going to hear this part. I can't. Oh, is Noah getting the suit? As I will say, I won't say it's a spoiler talk. The suit from Mirage after he dies, and in the comic books and cartoon, that is called Battle Masters. It is something they do with the humans in the cartoon. Some of them are able to mold over humans and give them suits. The one thing I don't get is how did Noah rebuild Mirage? Does he have a Cybertronian planet core laying around his garage? I don't think so. So how is it just laying an Autobahn insignia on a car instantly makes him a robot? That's the one thing I didn't get. But I love this movie. This is Transformers that we've needed for a long time. It's been 5 years since Bumblebee. This is the movie we needed. And this easily, easily gets a 5 out of 5 for me. I have no real major quarrels. I have nitpicks, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this movie to me is just this is Transformers at its best. This is what Transformers needed to be, and I am so happy. I'm so happy. This is my favorite movie of the summer. Until I see Mission Impossible, it might change, but right now,
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. All right, let's move on down to the next story. Speaking of Paramount, a movie Transformers will eventually end up on Paramount Plus as well. But Paramount Plus and Showtime are officially one as of June 27th. So all that means for anybody out there who has either the Showtime app or Paramount Plus app, there is a price increase if you pay for it monthly. If you pay for it yearly, the next yearly that you'll get charged for will go up because you're paying for two streaming service. Then whenever that is, whatever date that is. But you're fine until that is from what I read. And then the next, I think that's part of the reason why they're having so many issues with their
service currently.
Because they're trying to do this, and so I think it was just messing up a lot of different things. But if you have Showtime, you continue just like they did Discovery Plus, or Discovery. They're still keeping the app out there for people who want to use it until the end of 2023, and then it'll be discontinued, and you have to get Paramount Plus to watch Showtime.
Which means that you should probably get rid of the Showtime app. Man, who else should get rid of an app that's not being used anymore, that's just sitting around that people are constantly getting confused with? I wonder what that conundrum could be. Warner Brothers. Get rid of it.
Okay, moving on.
Sorry.
And so they're combining the two. The up price is now going to be like $11.97 a month instead of $9.99. It's really not that big of an increase. It's like 17% or something like that. And you get all Showtime content and all Paramount Plus content in
awesome.
one single place. They didn't take anything off of Showtime. They didn't take anything off Paramount Plus to be able to do this either, which is a pretty big deal.
What companies merge things together and is getting rid of everything? Man, Disney, Warner Brothers, who is it? I don't know.
Also, in case this does come to fruition, I just want to put it here because we are talking about streaming wars and things like that. Me and Zachary have made a declaration that Max was probably a bad idea. That they should. But this new news article popped up from a not very credible source, so we'll just have to wait and see what it pans out to be. But Max, and this source, has taken over Disney Plus. It has been above Disney Plus. So maybe, just maybe, we're all wrong here, and HBO Max did make the right choice. Wouldn't that be so funny that they have their prestigious, their top-notch good television shows for HBO, and then their trashy television shows that everybody loves through Discovery Plus. Maybe we are the problem. Maybe we were the problem. Maybe we should support it better. I don't know. I just can't get over the fact that Disney took off a movie that came out in May. I think there should be limits.
That was nuts when I heard about that.
There should be limits. A year on the service, no one watching it, sure, take away. Whatever, I get it. It's 2 months. You gave the movie 2 months, and you're like, no, that's too much time. I was just going to watch it the other day.
Really?
Yeah, can't. It's all nowhere. They didn't even sell it to anything. It's just gone. Just put away. Couldn't even rent it. Yeah, well, I guess this is really intimate. Watch what comes out that weekend. It could be gone next. Unless you're Netflix, then you'll have it forever.
It'll stay there like a bad hangover.
See, sometimes Netflix does need to get rid of things.
It does.
Sorry.
Look at the model on Netflix, not the idea. Look at the model.
Zachary, do you have any thoughts and opinions about this? I was just more or less just, wanting to
Cool.
inform the public. This
Cool.
is something I feel like I was like really, really like no one talked about, and so I just want to let everybody know in case they see
You
a
want to
new
know
upcharge
why?
or anything. So
You want to know why no one talked about it? Because Paramount Plus didn't axe anything off their streaming service. They just said, we're going to put these two together. No one will care. They'll just say, hey, more shit.
and
And that's
Paramount
exactly
Plus,
what happened.
I will have to say, as someone who has been actively using the service this past week, like a lot, we'll talk about that when we've been watching. I will have to say I have some very big gripes with the like app version on the phone, but everywhere else I'm having a good time. I will have to say the only thing I wish they would add is genre plays. I'd love to be able to go find my movies and my television show in two separate places than just one home screen. That right there is super pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what's on your service because I can't go searching for things in a very good way. So I do think there's still room to grow with this app, but since it has come out, it's been out for over like 2 years now. It's definitely it's just up there with like what HO Max was. Very well, very good,
I
very
love Paramount
usable,
Plus.
very serviceable. All right, short little story to get the blood pumping as we move forward into oh shit, Zachary. Let's talk about how our life is about to change.
So before we get started, I think some of these dates are for the better. Some of these dates I think are for the worse. And some of these dates I'm like, why? Why change it?
So the
I'll
way
get to
this
those
is
when we get to them.
the way this is going to work, I have a full list here of many of a movie, like a mini of a movie. And I'm just going to run through the movie. If it's untitled, I'll tell you if it's untitled, and I'll tell you the date. If it is untitled, I think it'd be really fun for me and Zachary to guess what movie that could be based on where we place, based on where it's placed. We'll also play a little game with this because we have the time. Why not? And if you want to play down below, be my guest.
And we're going to call this game a very subsequent return of Approve or Disapprove.
Kinda. All right, starting with the first one. We have Captain America Brave New World. It moved from May 3rd, 2024 to July 26th, 2024.
Okay. So,
I actually don't think that's a bad date for that movie.
I don't think it's a bad date either. However, will it function within the MCU's timeline putting it there? Because originally a movie was coming out before it that's now in its slot, and they just changed them. So I'm like, so is Captain
Yeah, I
America
am
technically?
curious to see what that means. Like how the Tetris is Tetrising. That is something that's really interesting because the movie's coming out in 2024. They just moved them around. They didn't like take them out of the year. They're just like, I want you here instead. No, I want you here instead. It's really like what they today is really interesting. I really didn't look at it that way until I had it like in front of my face. So we'll talk about that as we progress. Because
Uh-huh.
I really don't think the one I think it's a bad release date.
I
We'll
completely agree.
all right, moving on. Because this does follow both Disney and Fox, so we do have Hulu movies and stuff on here as well. This one actually is going to get, I'm pretty sure, released in theaters, which is pretty cool. And that's the Untitled Alien movie, which is now dated.
Aliens, Romulus.
Okay, cool for you. They
No,
have a
that's the
title.
title.
Yeah, I said good. I said good. It has a title. That's good. It comes out August 16th of 2024, so it was just officially dated. That's the Freddie Alvarez, which should be
Yeah,
pretty fucking cool.
I think this movie should be in October, not August, but that's just me.
No, they normally promote them. They normally do put them in August so they can come out for digital for October, so you can watch them on Halloween digitally. Because movies historically do not do well in theaters on Halloween. They do
And I
better
and
digitally.
I really hope they find a way to connect this to Prey, so that way Prey can get a sequel and we can see Prey 2 in theaters. Please, please, please. I'm begging you, please, please.
The next one being Thunderbolts. This is the one where I'm like, maybe you made a mistake, and it moved
Oh,
from
we're different then. This is not the one I was talking about.
this moved July 2024 to December 20th, 2024. I don't really see this being a December movie in my personal. Like, I don't really know. Let's go kill a bunch of people with the Thunderbolts for Christmas. I don't really know. That's really
That should be the tagline.
really the way to go, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would love to go see Elena during Christmas time. She did really good for Hawkeye during Christmas time. So maybe there is a connection somewhere in there. I don't know where, but maybe. Maybe. I hope. How do you feel?
I don't think Thunderbolts makes it to 2024.
Ooh, that's also a good thing. That's also another little fun game to play. Do you think it's going to make its release date? I do
No.
think Brave and the Bold will, Brave New World will make
Yeah,
its
Brave
release
New
date.
World will make it. However, I don't think Thunderbolts makes it. I think they get pushed to either Ant-Man's release in February, or they could be really ballsy and move it to May and push Fantastic Four to the end of the year. And actually, no, May would be Thunderbolts.
Fantastic Four. That's right.
May would be Thunderbolts. I think June or July could be Fantastic Four, and then the end of the year for 2025 could be King Dynasty, if they push it.
Well, hold on, because you're kind of right about the dates and stuff. So let's continue. The next one being Deadpool 3, which is currently filming. We'll talk about more about that in July. We won't talk spoilers or leaks or anything, but we'll talk about any official things that have been
I want
posted.
to talk about the costumes so bad.
Continue crying to yourself. That got moved from November 8th, 2024, which I didn't really like that release date, so I'm happy it got moved to May 3rd, 2024, and I think it's a great opener for the summer. Yes.
Wasn't it September?
No, it's November.
But the release, the video where they gave the Deadpool update, it says September 6th, 2024.
Yeah, then it got moved.
So here's the one.
This is the second movement.
I don't think Deadpool 3 in May is a good idea.
I think Deadpool 3 in May is a great idea. I don't think Deadpool 3 is going to make its release date.
I think it's going to.
If a certain thing, such as Actors Guild of America goes on strike and no actors can return to set, happens on Wednesday when they're still currently filming. No, I don't think so. I think that's gonna be like a very quick turnaround. They're gonna have to like sign that agreement. Yeah, you can get whatever you want very fast for actors. So like that's my only thing. If it goes through, I don't think it will. If it doesn't go through, yeah, I think it totally could maybe possibly hit the May 3rd release, depending on the VFX. I mean, I just really hope people aren't going to be in crunch time again for another movie to get it done. Because they had a long time, and now it's like a very short window because they're still filming.
But see, here's my other thing. I think either September or November made more sense because it gave them time to get it done.
Yeah.
Them pushing it up to May brings up my issue of crunch. Like, are they going to force this movie to get done faster now because... I know you just said it, but that's why. But that's why.
Word for word.
But that's why I hate the month of May for it. Let them have. This movie is important. Let them take their time on it. Don't rush them to get it done.
Yeah, but I can understand why they did what they did.
But again, but it also brings my question. Captain America was on May 3rd, 2024, and now Deadpool from November moved to May. So is now Deadpool supposed to be in front of Captain America in canon order?
See, that's my question. I am curious. This is a very good question. Maybe they're not connected. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know.
But hasn't that been the biggest issue with Marvel recently? Is that everybody's upset that it's not connected?
Because here's the thing:
Deadpool 3 movie is not going to be connected to Captain America.
Captain America and Thunderbolts are more than likely to be connected. I could see that being a thing, and those are still going in order of release. So I'm not sure. It's a good question. I just don't have an answer for you.
I mean, we might see Chris Evans in both of them.
Okay, moving on. Getting a little spicy there with that conversation with the Deadpool. Just saying, careful what you say. Might be firing.
Mine was better.
No, it wasn't. The Amateur is dated for November 8th, 2024. I had no idea what this is, so I Googled it while Zachary was going on his big spiel about like Deadpool 3 shouldn't be a summer release. And I decided
I think it's in July.
Yeah, no, July's a bad month. It should open. I agree. It's an excellent opener, especially if what I heard is what is planned. Oh my fucking, what a good opening. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat. That right there could be like one of the best movies.
If it's not connected, then let's
don't. Let's not this. Let's not do
I'm kidding. I'm too happy about Deadpool 3 right now. I don't want to be mad at it.
So this is Rami Malek's new movie. James Hawes, who I don't know as a yeah, I have no idea what this is. I'm assuming it's a Fox movie that got dated. I think that's probably what this is. Moving on to more important things. Sorry, but I'm assuming it's since it's November 8th, I'm assuming it's probably like an awards play film that got dated,
Mhm.
is my best guess. Next one would be Blade. Blade moved from September 6th, which was an okay release date, to February 14th, which makes me believe this is a lot more romantic than everyone thought it was going to be.
Blade don't make that release date.
Oh, I don't think Blade will make that release date either, to be honest with you, all the
That
things I've
means
heard.
that means they're asking this script to get done probably within the next month, then to start shooting probably within August,
Here's the thing,
and
they
then
can
to be
do
done
that
by February.
because the Writers Guild is still going on. Writers
My
can't
point.
write right now. So
So February in 2025 or 2024?
2025.
Oh, 2025?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were still like
No, no, no.
2020.
It moved from 2024 to 2025.
I still don't think it makes that date.
No movie actually took the September 6th release for Disney that year. They didn't slate anything.
Man, what was there before?
Blade.
Deadpool 3.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't think Deadpool. Once again, I feel like we're off the subject. We are moving on. Let us know in the comments how you feel about this argument. The next one being Fantastic Four, which moved from February 15th, which was a great release date, to May 2nd, which is also a great. Oh, come on. Fantastic Four, it's all going to be about the family. The
Yeah,
romance vibe will be immaculate depending on who they cast,
but
i.e., the people I want to be cast, Vanessa Kirby. And I can't really put my finger on who I definitely want.
but I think May fits better for Fantastic
Yeah,
Four because it's a great way to A, kick off that summer season, but B, to show how the Fantastic Four are going to be in the MCU. You want them to be a tentpole film for Marvel, and so putting them in May makes them feel more important, whereas putting your movie in February makes you feel less important. No offense to Ant Man, but it makes you feel less important. Guardians felt more important than Ant Man. Shit,
it
the
did.
Marvels feels more important than Ant Man. So
Yeah, I do agree. When they come out in either the May or the November release time, I definitely feel like there's like a mop of like this is going to be a good Marvel movie. Whereas February and July, it's always like this could
Black
be a
Panther
good,
1 is the clear exception of that rule.
yeah. Which is the reason why they keep putting it in February. I mean, Black Panther is the reason why.
Wakanda
Mar-
Forever was in November.
I know, but Black Panther, the original one, which made $1 billion,
Oh, I
came
get
out
you.
for the end of February, which makes
I get.
sense for the month and things. Either way, so next we have Disney live action Moana remake, which got dated for June 27th. We can all agree this should be just Moana 2, the sequel to the first movie that's not even 10 years old. And once again, I feel like there should be rules. 10 years later, sure, remake the shit out of it. Before that, maybe,
No.
I don't know, make a sequel. It has never had a sequel.
And also, Dwayne Johnson's coming back to play Maui again. Like, do you really want him around your movie right now? Do you?
Moving on, I'm just
In
saying it's a bad
animated
idea.
sense, sure, but do you really want him around in live action sense
It's a bad
right now?
idea. You
It's a
should
bad
make a
idea.
Moana 2. You should make a Moana. I don't care how bad it did in the box office. It's doing so well on Disney Plus. Make a Moana 2.
It's Encanto and Moana, baby. That's what your movie. That's what your Disney Plus is making for you. Give us
Truly
those.
is. Truly is. I don't really know if an Encanto 2 would do well, but
Uh,
god damn it, I would watch it.
we don't talk about Maui.
Avatar 3 moved from December
That
20th,
works so well. Thank you and good night. I'm done.
2024 to December 19th, 2025. It's so sad. I was so excited to go from Avatar 2 to Avatar 3, just a short little period. And
Oh,
here we are again. Back to the same problem first one. Next thing we know, it's moved to 20, 2033 for Avatar 2 or Avatar 3 10 years later. And we get them
but
once
here's the
every
thing.
10 years.
It'll make $3 billion.
Oh, see that. Oh, Avatar. We'll watch it. We have to watch it this
Will
month.
we?
I have to. I keep pushing Ox. I'm like, I just want that reaction to be with you, but I'm gonna get impatient if it doesn't happen this month. Avatar King Dynasty moved from May 2nd, 2025 to May 1st, 2026. That's not a bad
I'm
idea.
sold. everybody was gonna move.
That's not a bad idea. I actually think that's probably one of the
It's
best
such a better
movings.
idea.
I hate the fact that Avengers movies are so far away because I really want to move on from this phase of the MCU. That's the only bad part about this, but we definitely need more time. So I'm happy they're taking the time to really do it right. That's the only thing that makes me happy about these particular ones getting moved so far away.
Because
Next
what?
one is a movie Zachary can guess for me what he thinks will be here. And this is an untitled Star Wars project. Hold on, before you guess. It moved from December 19th of 2025 to May 22nd, 2026.
Dave Filoni.
This will come out 22 days after Avengers the King Dynasty. I don't really know if that's a smart idea, but that's what they're doing.
And if that's the case, I switch it. I think it's James Mangold.
I don't think he's going to get one. I think that's going to be canned.
It's not Ray. Then
Well,
it's Dave Filoni.
interestingly enough, the Christmas one, Untitled Star Wars Project, got dated for December 18th, 2026. That's that. I don't know if we should have two Star Wars movies in the same year. I don't know if we're there yet. Zachary,
I
do you
think
think we're there?
no May, but since they're stupid, May is gonna be just pointing it out. It's stupid. May will be Dave Filoni, so
Okay.
it'll make the least amount of money. It'll hurt itself, which sucks because we've been building for it for so long. And then they're gonna put out Ray in December, and no one's gonna go watch it because no one likes Rise of Skywalker, so it's gonna make less money. So Star Wars once again in 2026 will make no money for them at the theaters.
Yeah, but a lot of people like hate watching Star Wars, so I feel like it would do pretty well.
It won't make a
I don't know.
billion.
I don't know if two Star Wars hate watches will do very well, but one of those will
Dave
surely
Filoni's
do better.
Dave Filoni's movie will do well as long as Ahsoka does well this year, and as long as Mandalorian season 4 goes over better with audiences than season 3 did. So that's how that will depend. However, I stand by what I just said. Star Wars will not make the money it needs in 2026 simply because they're shitting them out way too fast. We didn't have any for so long, and now they're just putting them out way too quickly. I still think 2026 is too soon for a movie.
Hey, sweetie, I'm up. I texted mommy.
But I think 2026 is still like you for DC. I still think 2026 is too early for Star Wars movies.
Well, the next one being Avengers Secret Wars, which obviously had to move from 2026. So it moved from May 1st, 2026 to May 7th of 2027, which is the
2020,
second. I know, Zachary.
2027.
Zachary, wait till you hear these ones. These are the
Oh, I
killers.
know about Avatar 4 and 5. It's nuts.
So Avatar 4, which moved from the great date of December 18th to 2026, you would think would just move a year, maybe two away. No, it moved 3 years away from its original date to December 21st of 2029. 2029. See, this is the reason why I'm like, is Avatar worth it? I don't know. Avatar 2 was just so good, so maybe it is worth it, but it's
It's worth it,
hard.
Jake.
It's hard. It's hard being an Avatar fan. It's just it's hard.
They
Avatar
got
5.
me, Jacob, this year. They got me in last year. They got me. I saw it remastered in theaters. I love 2. I'm all on the Avatar train. We get the game in December, so positives.
Avatar 5, however, let's talk about that one because I think this is the killer. This is the
I
real
don't want to.
stab in the heart. So it moved from December 22nd, 2028. Now, obviously, you're thinking to yourself, well, it can't move to 2029 because that just got picked up from Avatar 4, which is a bit ridiculous, but that's fine. This is so far out, they should be ready by then. But hey, whatever, suit your bow. So you're thinking 30. That's crazy. It's heard of the century. No. Let's go. December 19th, 2031, if we're all still alive and not been haunted by aliens.
We might be Pandora by then.
E.T. phone home. We might be E.T. Oh, sorry. I'm just saying that. I mean, Zoe Saldana put it a great way. She got offered the role when she was 24. The final movie will come out when she's 51. 50. You know how many years it is playing the same character just to equate to 5 movies? 5 movies.
That means her and fucking what's his name will be the same characters longer than every single version of Batman, Spider-Man put together, and longer than Wolverine.
I'm just saying,
Put that in perspective, people.
it's a bit wild.
That means it'll be 20 years between Avatar 1 and Avatar 4. 2009 was Avatar 1. 2029 is Avatar 4. That's 20 years.
Just yeah.
You can start the next story. I need to have my head down there for a minute, please. Because I need to
Sure,
realize
sure.
I'm going to be in my. God.
So the next story I just want to
I'm
very
going to be in
quickly
my
touch
40s
on,
when
and
Avatar 5 comes out.
well, Zachary has a midlife crisis. Um, I was 10, for instance, when Avatar came out. Um, I'll be 30 when Avatar. No, oof, I'll be. You know what? Hocus Pocus 3. Hocus Pocus 3 is a movie that we'll definitely see before
See,
Avatar 3.
4.
So Hocus Pocus 3 got announced after just in time for the 30-year anniversary. Speaking of a movie that took a long time to make a sequel, was Hocus Pocus 2.
But it paid
So
off.
yeah, and it did extremely well for Disney Plus, and so they decided to greenlit the sequel, starring the original people: Bette Midler, Kathy Nimley, and Sarah Jessica Parker, all coming back to play the beautiful witches that are going to be murdered again after being resurrected again. I mean, this is the same story. We can't keep going down this road. We already did which jumps forward in time, so they get to experience technology. What are we gonna do? Go into space? What's the next space? Okay. I would think it'd be much more interesting if we did a Hocus Pocus focus on the underworld. How about we go with them to the grave? What's happening in the grave? How about that? I think that's more interesting than going and murdering children
Then it would be
for the
Beetlejuice
19th
at that
billion.
point.
Huh?
Then it'd be Beetlejuice at that point.
Yeah, but Beetlejuice is coming back. It's the year of Beetlejuice. Just do it. Disney likes the copycat. Let's just go full forward.
So on Hocus Pocus 3, Jacob, what did you think of Hocus Pocus 2? Because we didn't talk about it
Yeah, we were not doing the podcast at the time
at
of
the
that
time.
movie coming out. I thought it was serviceable, somewhat enjoyable, but not as good as the original. I was a big fan of the younger cast of it, and I thought the older cast came back and had a good time. There's one too many musical numbers, though, for my personal liking.
I loved Hocus Pocus 2. I do not like Hocus Pocus. We watched it so much as kids. It's
We
still a
did.
tradition at your guys' house. Every year you
It
guys
is.
watch it for October. It's a tradition. And so I went into Hocus Pocus 2 with some underlying expectations like, this is going to be good. Bette Midler is so good in that movie. The ending with her about her sisters genuinely made me tear up. It was really good. I thought the sisters were funny. I thought the young cast was really good. There were some great jokes. I think the opening musical number when they first come back is awesome, but nothing can top the musical number from Hocus Pocus. They tried to recapture that in this one. It just didn't work. However, all three of them can still sing pretty darn well. So, I was in the
I
movie
mean,
group for
voices
that.
don't change, so But
Sometimes singing voices cannot go with what you want it to. So I thought they all sounded really good. I had a good time though. It was a fun little movie.
all right. Well, the next one being talking about good old Comic Con. With Comic Con coming up just around the corner, Comic Con is now passed by the time you see this podcast because this one will debut in August. So we're talking about it in the beginning of July before Comic Con even happens. My only takeaway from everybody skipping it, I think it's mostly due to the fact that one, actors could be on strike, so they might not be able to go. So what's the point of trying to, conjure up the money to go do a Hall H panel? So that could be the first thing, the reason why Comic Con is being skipped this year. I also think it's also nice to give Barbie and Oppenheimer a whole weekend to
Mm-hmm.
themselves because it comes out the same week Comic Con's going on, and so now Barbie and Oppenheimer don't really have competition. There are things coming. It's just not really big talking point things. I don't really think there's gonna be too many headlines coming out of Comic Con. does for Comic-Con going forward, type of thing
That's
is
the
kind of
question.
sad. That is sad. I really don't want this to be like, okay, well, no one's going to show up, so we're not going to show up. I hope there's still enough people who's just going to go for Comic-Con in
Mhm.
general. That's what I
So
hope.
this is so I akin this with something that happened this year. E3. If people were not following gaming industry news over the past couple of months, E3 slowly died over 2022 into 2023. Sony dropped out, Xbox dropped out, Nintendo
2020
dropped
to
out.
20.
But I mean, like the big E3 show that was supposed to come back
Yeah.
this year. And I think people are realizing that, I think people are also forgetting Marvel and Disney have D23 in September. They don't need Comic Con. They don't have to go to Comic Con for. Hang on. Um, my brother, we're just gonna, put him to the side real quick and then bring him back because you're there. There you go. You're back.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. We'll see what it. Oh, okay. Okay, we're good.
I'm moving.
Oh, what's going on?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Okay, it's
Okay,
all
there we
good.
go. Now we're good. Anyway, so if we akin it to that of E3 this year, I think people are realizing they don't need these big stages to promote their stuff anymore. I mean, if you look at Sony, they do their state of plays every other couple months. Xbox has their own thing. Marvel now has and Disney have D23. They can announce,
Yeah, but
promote whatever they want to there. Hall H isn't
I
the
think
same.
there.
It hasn't been the same
I
for a
think
long time.
I think there is something so magical though about Hall H and being able to go in front of. The problem is, and I think they maybe will come back next year. Marvel, for instance, is not really in a likable space. I think they're probably scared to go and get booed or get mean comments or something else along those lines, people being rude or something like that. Just because Marvel right now is really fun to be hated on. It's a very common thing online to say something really nasty about Marvel or the people in Marvel or the people making Marvel movies or TV shows. And I think that was a big reason. I also think because Fantastic Four still has not, their contracts still have not gone through yet. I also think that was also a very big factor. I feel like they would have came to play if Fantastic Four was worth playing for, but it's just not yet. They still have yet to square down those roles. And so I just don't really think there's enough for to announce. I think Zachary's right, at least for this year. I think they have D23 and they're willing to wait until then because then they have more time to square out the bigger deals that will get the bigger headlines. And Warner Brothers does not have the money to go to Hall H. I mean, that's the honest truth for DC. They can say whatever they want. They can say, oh, we have DC fandom, even though that's not really a thing anymore. That probably won't be a thing again. They don't have money to go and promote themselves at Hall H and Comic Con because they have Barbie and they're trying to save money for other movies and stuff. This is a luxury. They don't have the money for said luxury at this very moment in time. Also, I
And
don't think
since
David Zaslav cares enough.
no, the only reason I want to get excited for next year's Comic Con if they go for DC is because James Gunn is such a good hype man and he just so good with the crowd. And I think by next year we'll either have more information on Superman. I think next year we'll have our Batman for Brave and the Bold. I think they'll have more stuff to move forward with and kind of explain what their universe is. They're still trying to figure their universe out. So don't bring anything to Comic Con that's not ready yet. And that's why I guarantee you that's why Marvel showed off Ryan with Deadpool and Wolverine this past week, and that's why we got the casting for Superman with David Corn Sweat and Rachel Rosman, simply because they're not going to Comic Con. And also,
Yep.
the acting strike is a big set to this as well. If that goes through on Wednesday, no one could go to Comic Con anyway.
Speaking of that acting strike, I know this isn't the exact order, but Zachary just gave me too much of a good thing to talk about, so we're just going to talk about it now. We have other things to talk about. Can move on later on. Honestly, this might be a shorter podcast. The amount of time that we are just breezing through, kind of crazy. Either way, so SAG is going on strike. If you guys don't know what SAG is, that is the union for the Actors Guild. It's a whole
Screen
thing.
Actor, the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And So that got agreed. It was a 98% of a yes to go on strike. They're waiting on a few things. We'll know officially on Wednesday. So in our to this one, we will give you an actual verdict if they went on strike or not. Crazily enough, um, I I feel like they probably will go on strike, based on all the information that has been given to everybody. I'm not entirely sure why they're striking. I don't think we'll really know until it happens, and so we'll be able to come back with an update in that regard.
The
But this
writer's
does,
strike made more sense than the acting strike did.
yeah, I'm really curious to see where this is coming from. It could just be the simple fact that they're like, hey,
They're standing with
yeah, there's good,
UGA.
yeah, lots of different reasons why. This will make a lot of things hard. So I feel like if anything, you can work around the writers, which is really stupid and really annoying, but you can technically do that. You cannot work around the actors. So I definitely feel like they're gonna try to clear up the actors faster than they will for the writers. But
I
I
say
wouldn't be
let.
surprised if the actors are like, you can't tell us, you can't sign off on us until you sign off on them. You know.
Mhm. So do you think? So do you think if this goes through that the WGA strike probably ends now within maybe a month or so? If this
I'd
happens,
say, yeah, I would say it would be closer to ending than not. Um, yeah, no, it's really fascinating. The actors have only gone on strike like twice in the entirety of Hollywood. It's a very shorter amount of time. Writers have gone on strike way more than actors have gone on strike.
but I think what I find fascinating about all of it is that the Screen Actors Guild is going on strike to be with their brothers and sisters within the writing department, and I think this will finally. I hope this shows Hollywood that hey, it needs to change. Now, if we get to the point where the Directors Guild goes on strike,
It is
then we
personally
are
being
in
talked
a
about.
huh?
It is being talked about.
If that goes to that point, I think then they have to just approve what they want and move on because they can't not have stuff coming out. They just can't. That would Hollywood would tank within months or weeks. They can't do that.
Well, luckily enough stuff has been made in the past. My thing here is maybe we'll actually get to see Batgirl.
They'll have to put it out.
It's like, I
That'd
got
be
nothing
revenue.
else for you. Here you go.
But
Would
they
that
would
be?
have to. But would you want to do that to confuse your people even more?
It was a joke. It was just more
Like
like it was just like a haha. Look at this. You have nothing else.
it might not be a joke if we get to that point, and that's the sad part. Maybe Disney
Well,
Plus will put the stuff back on its platform.
no, I don't think so. Sorry, Zachary. I don't think that's happening. Well, yeah, that's it. We don't really have much to talk about. Just like with the original, when the writers went on strike, just here to announce this is could be happening. It could come out that they're not doing it. Once again, we'll know tomorrow. So it's pretty scary. All right, moving on. Universal's $1 billion plan. Now,
I
Zachary's
have
really
no idea.
curious of what this is. This is about Universal's 17-day window. So Universal has had a 17-day window since 2020. It reenact, I think, at the very end of 2020 when the movie theaters were officially starting to open back up, where they could choose and pick the movies that they wanted to decide that will have a 17-day window based on box office. Movies performing very well, it could go on to a 45-day window. If the movie is performing moderately, it could get pulled out for 17 days. If the movie is doing horrible or not up to speed that they want to say, they can put it on digital in 17. All this means is the movie pops up on digital while still in theaters, giving you both the option. It's been around for a long time now, and it is announced this past month that it has made officially $1 billion worth of revenue with this plan. Them sending it to 17-day window is one of the best options Universal, making it the top competitor to beat in the year of 2023 due to the fact that it's officially made $1 billion just in digital ad revenue alone, meaning that with
Mario.
that being said, um, with that being said, I think this is a big reason why a lot of households have gotten used to their movies coming out in 17 days. This is the reason why the market has changed so dramatically. Why you see movies like The Flash, whereas before, people weren't willing to wait. They would go see the bad movie if it's bad. I don't know. I'm just using it as an example. But now that Universal has done the 17,
Transformers
Transformers is a great example. That was like 30 days?
came out on June 9th.
Yeah, Yeah, just a little under 30 days. I was going to use Renfield, any of those movies. They all follow. They all Megan came out in 17 days after its release. Most of any horror film Universal puts out, it normally comes out in 17 days. Blackening just came out on digital as well. That was only in theaters for a very short amount of time, type of thing. Other studios do this, but it's very odd. Most studios do wait the 45 days or the 30 days, depending on how long the theater will hold your movie, and then release it on the digital, and then go further down. The only thing here is Universal getting out in 17 days does make it much longer for it to pop up on Peacock, which is part of the reason why Peacock does not perform well. Because by that time, you've already owned your Universal movie. Because you're much more willing to buy it in 17 days than wait 60 days for it to pop up on a service that you probably don't have. Because who has Peacock?
I mean,
Genuine
look at
question.
look at Mario.
Yeah, Mario is a great example. And you're seeing that pop up on a lot of like on iTunes lists and other lists of
For
like
pre-order.
popular releases for pre-orders popping up, be it for things like Mario, John Wick, those type of things, where they're like, this will probably come out within the next 30 or so days. Let's go ahead and pay the $30 that's going to take to own it because we definitely want to buy it. Mario is the exception to this rule, though, because it still did make $1 billion. It still continued to make money past the point of being on digital, being able to watch. And now it's just coming around the corner. It's the next, I think it's like on
August 2nd.
Friday. Oh, okay, it's in August. I thought it was in July. August 2nd, it'll be on Peacock, ready for you to go. And about 4 months from that, it'll be on Prime Video for anybody who doesn't have Peacock. It will pop up on Prime as an exclusive because they have a deal. So very interesting stuff. I just thought it was crazy. They have made $1 billion. They're the only studio um in digital since the pandemic happened and we had to switch at like different like ways to making money that's made
Yeah.
$1 billion off of digital
Well, I
ads.
think people need to remember Universal started this trend. It was them
Yep.
that kicked off everything with Trolls World Tour back in 2020. It was them that caused the surgence of digital from theater to digital, and Universal, I think, ultimately benefited from that. I mean, they have gone on to make almost $1 billion worth in Jurassic World. Mario obviously made $1 billion this year. Last year, Jurassic World made $1 billion, and they continue to do well digitally as well. The Jurassic movies continue to do well for them, and Mario is the ever living juggernaut that just won't stop. So,
And it's also very good to note, like Zachary was saying, that even though they get put on to digital plans, they do still do normally extremely well in theaters. Like for
mhm.
instance, Fast X got the 17-day window to pop up in at home, but it still made over $700 million worldwide. Not as good as a good Fast and Furious movie, but still doing better than other movies. Hashtag you the Flash. You wish you had that 700. You wish you
They
were.
wish they had three.
Oh, wasn't gonna go there, but you right. You right. Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a fascinating story.
That's really.
This is what studios want.
I mean, when you look at it, Universal has this down, and I think Paramount, in on the other side, is doing really well when it comes to Paramount Plus. I think they are using their platform really well. I mean, look at Top Gun for them last year. They expertly had that in theaters, on digital, and then Paramount, and then Peak and Paramount. Mario this year, expertly done in theaters, then on digital, and then now it's hitting Peacock in August. It's keeping that momentum going. Whereas I think both Disney and Warner Brothers are, and I love the fact they're adamant, make sure that they have their movies in theaters. But if your movie's not doing well, don't take that shot anymore. Take it off, put it on digital, let it do well over there, and then put it on your streaming service. That's why they're going to lose so much money on The Flash, Elemental, Indiana Jones. It's just because they're not financially doing what they need them to do. So I continue to take that shot to the chest, move them over to digital as well, let them be watched there, and then move them over to your streaming service because people will still watch them through there. Look at Paramount and look at Universal. Clearly, they're doing something right. Obviously, people bought Paramount Plus for Top Gun. I guarantee you, people are going to get Peacock to shut their kids up with Mario. We're going to
But
see
the
a
only
number
thing
in striking
here,
for.
I don't know. I would be really curious to see if Peacock does have an uptick in subscribers when Mario does come on the scene. But a lot of people have bought Mario if they want Mario. That is a
That's
movie
true.
that I would say a lot of people probably already own
Hmm.
because it has been on digital for so long now.
Yeah.
Because it popped up on digital probably like 30 days after it came out, about a month or so, and
Hmm.
it's been out for a while. So that's my only thing. That's the only negative thing with the 17-day window. It just takes so long for it to pop up. Like by the time that you're getting ready to buy the newest one, like by the time Renfield was getting, coming out or whatever, Megan was just popping up on Peacock. Type
Right.
of thing. It's a long time. It's like 4 to 5 months in between.
And also, Mario made them a bunch of money digitally because it was the only film so far this year that was $30 to buy
Yep.
before it went, and because I just got Transformers yesterday and it was 25, and so they continually made more money on Mario because it was a $30 movie, but they knew it would be a movie people would constantly buy.
Yep.
So Universal's got it in the can right now. They know what they're doing and it's clearly working for them. So don't break what's not broken.
The only issue is the fact that we are seeing
It
that
takes
direct
longer.
effect in the box office, though.
The other thing I've been noticing about these shorter time windows is that people aren't as watchative of movie theaters. So if you look at piracy, since this has all gone down, has significantly The Flash and it's entirely dropped on Twitter. I
Yep.
mean, so due to
Little
the window
Mermaid,
being
you could
yeah,
if you got into the right TikTok trend, you could watch the entire movie in little TikTok shorts.
I mean that's really bad, and it's because these windows are getting so much shorter. They don't have enough time to really keep track of things going in, and they're not really paying attention to these movies. So they're constantly just going in and out, in and out.
Or like an issue that I had when Scream 6 came out, for instance, I was really happy that I went and saw that opening weekend. Um, the killer reveal for that movie was up on YouTube Shorts like 3 hours after the movie premiered. Like someone who
It's
went there, saw it the first showing, recorded it, and posted it immediately.
if you didn't know, the big reveal at the end of Transformers came out a week before the movie came out,
Yep.
and to me that's really upsetting, especially for like these. And the other thing I'm really hating right now is that they're doing these like day early or week early screenings of these movies. Like Mission Impossible premiered on Monday, but it doesn't come out till tomorrow,
Sunday.
Sunday. But it's super aggravating. That's what killed The Flash.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that they constantly were having fan screenings for these movies. I wish they would stop these. They don't need them anymore. Just release it on release day and do it. They
I'd say
don't
with
need.
Mission Impossible, I can kind of understand. Mission Impossible had 2 days early. We only had a single showtime, at least at our theater. I don't know how other theaters were. It was at 7:30 both nights.
Yeah,
Walmart had one, which I thought was a really
really
weird
weird.
like collab, but like whatever. And then there was like a fan service, like a fan like central one the next night, and then our Thursday night premiere is Tuesday, and then it goes wide on Wednesday type of thing. Um, yeah, no, I would like to mention, by the way, for anybody out there, Mission Impossible is already over. We're going to be reviewing it in the next podcast you guys see. But the villain in that movie has not been revealed to the
So
public.
stay away
And
from
I do
anything
know
I
that
related.
like if you do get revealed, it's revealed within the first like 2 minutes of the movie. But I did
But
hear
still,
it's very shocking who the whole thing is about. And I personally do not want to be spoiled for that information. I would like to keep all Mission Impossible spoilers to Mission Impossible.
like for me, my big movie for August is Turtles. I don't want to know a lick about the movie because it looks so different, unique, brand new. I don't want to know anything about it. And it hurt. We keep bringing this movie up because it's the big movie of the talk right now for bad reasons. Fan screenings really did hurt The Flash
Well, it's
because
because a
everybody
lot of
got
fan screenings were not good. A lot of people walked out thinking it was a bad movie. That's
and
the
the
bad
people
effect of fan screenings, is that you want people to say, "Oh, this is a great movie," and it was the exact opposite.
and the people who did stick around took their phones out and spoiled everything within a week before the movie came out. And so it ultimately hurt people like, well, I already saw those cameos. Why go see the rest of the movie? Also, like you said, people are walking out. What's the point? You're not giving your movie enough time to actually stand on its own 2 feet.
Either way,
I still think fan screenings are cool, but only use them in sparingly process to promote your movie a little bit more.
so
Not
you You don't think Transformers should have had its fan screening the one you
No,
went to?
I don't think so.
The one
I
you went to?
enjoy. I'm glad I went, but it didn't need it. But there's also nothing really that big besides that ending thing, the reveal in Transformers, like Optimus Prime's movie. What?
All right. Moving on to the
Boy,
final.
man, that would have been shocking if someone went and what the fuck? What? He has what? Like, did you not watch any of the promotions?
No, I did not. I don't watch
Bumblebee's
anything.
here? What do you mean Bumblebee's here? Like, I wanted to be in the theater with that guy.
So, we are here to talk about. Technically, that was kind of River when I took River because she'd never seen really anything like that for
That's
Transformers.
true, man.
So it was a very similar experience.
I wanted that experience, and you got it.
So Ryan Murphy has officially left Netflix, or will be leaving Netflix next year to be going back to his home in Disney. So originally in 2018, he had left Disney for Netflix for a $300 million picture deal. And he produced all the pictures that he was contracted to. And so now, since his contract is ending, he was given another 9-figure deal to go back to Disney. And well, I would take it too. And he decided he would too as well. He's still staying with Netflix. For anybody who is curious, is TV shows such as Monster, which is like the Dahmer Project, Ratched, The Watcher, other things that he's done over there. If those are going to be canceled, taken off because he's no longer there to work on them, he is still producing projects that are still currently going on. He's just now going to be making new things for Disney themselves. So, like for instance, if he makes a movie like The Prom, that will premiere for Disney instead of for Netflix.
And I think it'll work so much better on Disney.
And more than likely, these all things will go to Hulu because it is all one conglomerate. And he's also a big player with Hulu already because of FX. He's a
American Horror Story.
huge FX person. He has a lot of different TV shows on.
I mean, FX put him on the map with
and
American
then
Horror
Fox,
Story.
FX and Fox alone has a lot of stuff over there. So it's not shocking he's going back to the studio that kind of made him a household name. But he's made so much money and made. Like his TV shows have done so well at Netflix that it's quite shocking that he's deciding to leave because they're
thinking about this with Hulu coming over, and I know they won't do anything with the property, but his main fade state over there that's now on Disney was Glee.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there is in any way, shape, or form of him coming back over here is not a coincidence, and maybe they're doing something with that brand? Maybe.
No, they won't touch Glee. Glee is too much of a what is the right word? It's like anybody who touches that, nothing good comes out of it.
Man, like the Flash.
Well, no one died from the Flash that I'm aware
That's
of.
also true.
Glee, on the other hand, it has a long list. Sadly, it's very sad. It's not really funny. It's just we joke at bad moments.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well, technically, that's the last thing. Do you have any other thoughts and opinions on this?
I've not really watched a lot of his material, so the closest I ever got to it was not even finishing the season of American Horror Story. But I watched something of his.
Well, I mean, you've seen The Prom, and
oh my god, I love the movie so much.
Type of thing. Like he just doesn't produce like horror. He's mostly known for like his.
I'll never watch
things.
Dahmer, so that's there.
Yeah, and I mean it's an anthology, and so the next season, and we'll see if it does well.
It has to be by him.
It is. I don't remember who it's the twins who murdered their mom. I can't remember what their names are. They had just been casted because one of the actors is on something else, and he's taking like a sabbatical from whatever it is to go do this. On. Yeah, I can't remember who it is though. I just read a whole thing about it because I was curious to see what they're doing with that.
Do you think his next monster project will be as successful as Dahmer, or do you?
See, that's what I mean. I'm not really sure because I think Dahmer was a mixture of like three things: the shock value of Dahmer. So everybody talked about it because everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is horrible! Don't watch it because it's too graphic." Mm-hmm. That's a big thing. When you're dealing with real life stories, you don't want to glamorize it or go too far. And he definitely decided to say, "Fuck it, I'm going to do what I want." Evan Peters is the big reason also why Dahmer was so successful. The fact that Evan Peters is so attractive was also no reason why Dahmer was so successful because everybody online, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it might be, they all started making fan clubs about how they wish Dahmer was still alive and they could come and murder him. I don't know if you saw all that stuff. But that's a big reason why Dahmer was so popular.
Can we move on?
I'm just saying,
that makes me
it
uncomfortable.
made a lot of people uncomfortable. It made like a lot of fucking people uncomfortable. But that was like a big, huge thing. And so I don't really know if the Mendes twins, I think it's who the next season follows. I think that's who it is. Will have the same exact like appeal. They don't have a big name behind it like Evan Peters, type of thing.
So this is really off topic, but I wanted to bring
Sure.
it up. We know the Michael Jackson biopic's coming out
Mm-hmm.
soon. Do you think if Ryan Murphy were to have directed that movie, it would have been on that level of like what Monster did, and and revealed a lot of the controversy around him, or do you think the
No.
estate was not still not let him do it?
So that's where the things gets a little more complicated. Ryan Murphy with Monster, with Dahmer specifically, just like he does with American Horror Story, he does the same exact thing. He does not go and he does not ask for permission. He doesn't go
Hmm.
and interview anybody. He just decides his story is the way he's going to go, and that's just what it is.
Hmm.
Michael Jackson's estate, though, specifically was very much involved. They weren't allowing certain things to be a part of that movie whatsoever. Certain conversations can't even be like talked about, even brought up. I have a very strong feeling it's going to be more in the lines of like Bohemian Rhapsody and well, Bohemian Rhapsody in particular, where
Hmm.
it might be a really great biopic. Not saying anything in that it's just not going to show the more realer sides. Like Bohemian
Hmm.
Rhapsody, like really shied away from like a lot of bigger subject matter that a lot of people were really hoping that they would talk about with Freddie Mercury, and they decided, nope, we ain't touching any of that. I have a feeling it's gonna be more on those lines. It did really well. I mean, it's the
Hmm.
only movie that decided we're not going to touch the stuff that's harder to watch, unlike
Hmm. Rocket
the
Man.
Rocket Man, which went the exact opposite route. Rocket Man, with Elton John being like a front hand man of that movie, was like, no, I want my entire life story in that movie, good, bad, the ugly, does not
Hmm.
matter. And a lot of people in theaters alone were not a big fan of that. They want the more glamorous style. They want the more, the
Hmm.
bigger like sets, and not the smaller stuff that Rocket Man decided to do to tell a much more darker, mature story.
Hmm.
They want the more, I don't want to say kid friendly story, but you understand what I mean. When
I get what you mean.
the difference between Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is the perfect way. I think it's going to be more on the lines of Bohemian Rhapsody. And I don't think they would let someone like Ryan Murphy turn it into a Rocket Man.
Hmm.
It That sounds really
That makes
weird
sense.
when talking about. Either way, let's not think too far into all those references right there.
But
Okay.
I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. That being said, let's go ahead and jump on over the top 10 movies of the year. I'm so excited for this list. We both came up with our list, and I
How many
figured
do you
what
have?
I have 10.
Okay,
How many do you have?
I have 10.
I also had two like bonus ones that didn't make the cut. Do you have any extras that didn't make the cut? Honorable mentions?
Um,
If not, that's fine. It
no.
was it was not necessary, but just curious. I'll talk about my two honorable mentions at number 9 because that's where they would be traded in and out at this very moment in time of the year. But we'll start with 10 and work our way up to 1, going back and forth type of thing.
You'll go.
By the
You go
way,
10. I'll go 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, yada yada.
I will probably pull this out of this section, by the way, in case you're watching this on YouTube. Hi. I'll probably make this
Hello.
entire its own video as well because that's fun. TV show is a little weird. This actually has a list. So we'll do it that way as well. So starting with 10, Zachary can go first.
Okay, my number 10 movie so far of 2023 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Ooh.
I have seen so
Interesting.
many more better movies this year since Ant-Man. I had a great now. I have been going back and forth on how I feel about the movie. I really liked it, but then I also didn't like it. So I'm just going back and forth with it. The stuff with Majors has hurt the movie for me, but hearing more and more about it, maybe that'll change. The movie's been out since February, so I don't care if I say this or not. Modoc is still weird to me. That is the weirdest thing about the movie, and it really hurts the film by the end. I didn't like what they did with him, and also it felt inconsequential. And so it's my least favorite Marvel movie I've seen this year so far.
My number 10, speaking of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, that movie did not make my list at all. My number 10 is John Wick Chapter 4. Um, I have seen better
Bring it
action
on,
movies.
tough guy.
I have seen better action movies this year. That's part of the reason why. Sorry. I do think Paris is perfect. I don't think anything can top Paris. I will forever remember sitting in that theater for the first time seeing Paris in its all of its glory. I do agree. But I don't necessarily know if I enjoy the action movie where it's nonstop action throughout the entire thing. It gets very
Mhm.
tiresome, and John Wick Chapter 4 being so long, and with the ending, me not really liking, because just the more I think about it, the more it pisses me off. I'm not going to
Mhm.
spoil it here. We have a whole review, like I said, talking about it. I just don't think there's enough in the first two thirds to make up for an amazing third act, in
Mhm.
my personal opinion. I liked a lot of stuff with Rena Seawall and her dad and things in that section of the movie, but the particular section of where he's going to solve some family problems, so I'll say there, I really did not. I did not enjoy like at all. I
Mhm.
know a lot of people really enjoyed parts of that for certain like visuals and stuff, and it wasn't even good enough for me to be like super enjoyable of the visuals and the team. Like Zachary knows exactly what section I'm
Yeah, I know
talking
exactly
about
what
for
you're
that
talking
movie.
about.
So that's why it's number 10 for me. Still a great movie. I obviously would recommend John Wick as a franchise to anybody who likes action. Never not going to do that. It's just not my favorite one I've seen so far this year.
Gotcha. Since I did number 10 first, you go 9. Well, I went 10. You went 10. Oh, you go 9.
You
I'll
go
go 9.
9. No, no, you're
Oh,
good.
so my number 9, I'm so curious to see whether or not you allow this or not,
Yeah,
would
sure.
be the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers special that came out this year.
For sure, that is a movie.
Um, I watched that almost 17 times within the week and a half it was released. And so I remember it. I love it. But again, I have seen things since then that I enjoyed more. That is definitely a nostalgia moment for me, for absolute sure. But I still think overall, quality wise, it was really good. It was a more mature version of Power Rangers I talked about before on the channel, and I think they accomplished what they need to accomplish with it. So that would be number 9. Is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always would be number 9.
All right, my number 9 is going to end up being Cocaine Bear. So this is the one I chose outside of
That didn't make my list.
two other horror films, which I'll mention after I get to the reason why I chose Cocaine Bear. When I think back to Cocaine Bear and sitting down in theaters for the first time watching that movie, it was just overall a much more enjoyable experience than the other two movies that were in the same classing of enjoyment for me personally. Just sitting there and the scene playing out from the person getting shot, as I'll say, to the back of a van will forever be engraved of a happy moment inside like my mind. That's just a movie. I think it's like a guilty pleasure movie of where like
Hmm.
when I'm really stressed, I can turn on Cocaine Bear and feel just like calm and feel like happy and just like have a
It
great
feels like you
time.
take cocaine.
I wasn't gonna say that. I also don't agree with that. But like
Oh,
it's more like I take like a good old gummy. It's just like it's like a
yeah, that's
fun
better.
yeah, it's like a good time. I'm having a great time. The bear is super well realized. But there's other horror films that I've seen this year. Okay, there's one other horror film that I allowed to be on this list that I enjoyed better.
I would be shocked if it's not on your list.
I mean, I've seen other horror films, but I personally like Cocaine Bear. The other two, my other two honorable mentions that were interchangeable with this number 9 would be
Mhm,
Megan. I
mhm.
loved Megan, but I
Shit,
like
I forgot Megan. Megan
but
would be
I
an honorable mention for me. Would be Megan.
but I like Cocaine Bear just a little bit more, or they're about the same level. I think it go interchangeable. Then Evil Dead Rises is also not on this list. Um,
Rise.
I'm gonna say what I want to say. For the same exact reason. That was a great. I had so much fun watching that with Zachary and things. It was a great time. But I much preferred Cocaine Bear overall as an experience. So, all right, Zachary, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is Scream 6.
Oh,
Jacob,
oh,
you're
the
gonna be shocked.
brutality.
You're gonna be
The,
shocked. I have 2 horror movies on my list.
oh, that's great. That's great. Obviously, you chose the wrong one to be better, but that's just my opinion of
I
things.
I really
number 8.
yeah, number 8. Number 8.
I can't say
Um
anything. Transformers was not even on my list. It's not even an honorable mention.
I had such a great time in the theater watching this movie. It was a great theater experience. However, I have just not gone back and had the gut feeling to go watch it again. I know it's there if I want to, but besides our commentary we did for it,
We
I
didn't do a
really
commentary for it.
oh we didn't man, and I really haven't watched it since we saw it in the theater. Um, It
We
just it
should do a commentary for it.
we
Maybe in
should. We
October.
really should.
Maybe in October for a group pick.
Ooh,
I don't.
I
I
like
don't know.
that. Anyway,
Figure it out.
back to
By the way,
that was off camera talk.
little tangent.
But since then I've thought about it. It sat with me, but it's just of the two horror movies on my list, it didn't sit with me as well. It then sat with me. The other one we'll get to. I had a visceral reaction to, so it sticks with you, and we'll get there.
Yeah. I'm. Yeah, my number 8 is The Little Mermaid.
I haven't
I
seen.
knew it had to be on this list because I thoroughly enjoy the aspects of the romance, but because I didn't love every aspect of this movie, even though I'd highly recommend it. I'm sure we're gonna buy it, so you'll definitely get to watch it. Um,
Commentary.
if you choose it, I don't think I will personally choose it, so it would have to be one that either we do a group pick for or you choose. Either way, doesn't matter. Also, off camera talking. Um, because of that, and because some of the songs are really beautiful, and I think the performance is phenomenal, it had to make the list. It just had to be lower or less on the list. That's why it's great.
Alrighty, number 7 for me. So originally, I had Scream at number 7, and
Mm-hmm.
I had this one at number 8. But I really thought about it and was like, I had more fun with the other one, so that's why it's number 7. And that'd be Evil Dead.
Okay.
Evil Dead isn't fresh in my head still, but it's been about a week and a half since. I'm still thinking about this movie. I am just like, why that? Why that? It just go watch a commentary. I had a very visceral reaction to this movie, so much so I paused and canceled the movie a couple of times. I think all the performances in this movie are fantastic. The mother, in particular, just absolutely kills it. It's so good. It was just nice seeing Evil Dead still continue its streak of not having a bad thing in his repertoire. And
That's right. That's good.
Evil Dead is just good. It's just a evil thing is really good, and groovy, baby, groovy. So that's why it's number 7.
All right. My number 7 is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This is the first of 2 animated movies on this list. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that this came out, and I saw this in January, so that was a long time ago. I also feel like it has to do with the fact that I've seen it at home,
Mm-hmm.
both
I
stoned and
really wish I would have
non-stoned.
saw it in theaters.
And I would just say that I think I much preferred it in theaters. It's definitely the best Shrek thing coming out since like Shrek 2. So like it has that going for it, and it really did revive the genre for Shrek. Like I do think we'll get another Shrek movie because of this.
We are
I think
Shrek
the
5.
animation, yeah, I think the animation is gorgeous and beautiful, and I think the story is amazing. I just think I've seen other things that caught my attention more
Mm-hmm.
since then.
Puss in Boots
It's
is my
hard to
other.
like, it's harder to like really keep your attention when you come out in January. That's the
Yeah,
only issue with coming out so early.
Puss in Boots was my other honorable mention. I did have 2. I had Megan in that one. They came out really early, and so they really haven't stuck with me since. But they're there.
What's your number?
Number 6 for me is Dungeons and Dragons: Honors Among Thieves. Um, I you saw the commentary. I fucking love this movie. I this is my favorite movie. I regret not seeing in theaters. I really, 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 really wish I would have saw it in theaters. I think my love for this movie would have been tenfold. But it it hurt it watching it at home for the first time. I really wish my first time would have been in the theater because some of the stuff I love doesn't look great on a smaller screen. I think it looked a lot cooler for the first time on a bigger screen, so that hurts a little bit. But it's still one of the funniest movies I've seen all year. The stuff with the brain thing is still the funniest thing. I bring it up all the time. Well, that was rude. It's just so good. I love Dungeons and Dragons. So that's my number 6.
My number 6 is Dungeons and Dragons: Honors Among Thieves.
So we can
For
agree.
all the same reasons Zachary just said.
So again, we can agree.
I all I have to say is it was a phenomenal theater experience. I'm so happy I got to see it
You
in theaters.
jerk.
And I will forever remember when Chubby Dragon showed up on screen. I can say that because they started using him in the ad campaign, so I can officially, I don't have to be like I'm spoiling anything. That's all I'll say. But I very much will remember the place I was at when I think of Chubby Dragon. That alone, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why to love that movie and why I do love that movie. It's another comfort movie, just like Cocaine Bear, where you can just
Mhm.
turn it on, just have like he just brings a lot of joy and happiness. But that is a standout. That is the reason why I'll probably make my top 10 list of the year because of that
Of that
dragon,
one scene.
of that one scene. Okay, Zachary, what's your number
For
5?
me, the one scene that'll put that in
Oh
my
yeah,
top 10 for the year is Jonathan.
yeah, yeah. I get that. And so I feel like in that movie there are so many amazing scenes for it that like I feel like there's a lot of.
The little baby kid just
I mean, the
didn't.
opening is just so good. Oh, now I kind of
The
want to
one
watch it
shot in
again.
that movie.
Oh, phenomenal! Yeah. Okay. Either
Man, I want
way,
to watch D&D again. It just
damn.
makes you want to watch it, you know?
Yeah, such a good movie. If you've not seen it yet and you're nervous to
Go
watch
watch it,
it, it's so
please.
good. It's so good. It's so worth it.
It's on Paramount Plus. You don't have to pay for it. Just go watch it or go buy it. Do it, please. So, my
What's your
number
number?
5 was my number 1 up until this month,
Okay.
and that is John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh, okay. Can't so
John
curious
Wick
this one.
Chapter 4, I've seen it 3 times now, and I love this movie. However, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I agree with Jake. The first hour is the first hour is great. Paris is fucking fantastic. Nothing to
It's one of
complain
the
about
best acts.
the first hour and the last hour are great. I appreciate the middle because I think it has one of the better cameos in the movie this year. If you don't realize it's him, then it's awesome when you find out that it's actually him because him doing all that stuff in the thing is nuts. And but it does get very tiresome. It gets very tiresome. It's a lot. And but I still think it's one of the best action movies ever made. You can never deny that. It's still one of the best action movies ever made. It's just the last
And
hour certified it as one of the best action movies ever made.
I mean, my favorite part of Paris, I definitely say, is the building. Everybody has their own section in Paris that I think determines why that section is so special. I think
Just
just yeah,
just a camera angle in Paris
yep,
changes that
just a,
movie for me.
in like yeah, I mean yeah, yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts how one single camera angle changes a movie for you. It's nuts. I'll never forget that ever. Seeing that for the first time is just something truly to behold because they've never done it before.
Oh, okay. My only thing here with it, with that one change, talking about that one change, is that I just wish the whole movie was on that level. That's
I
like
agree.
my only complaint. Because as much as I love like the stairway sequence and some other sequences in that, I just don't think it's at that level, in my personal opinion.
It's still not chapter 3. I think chapter 3 is
Yeah,
still
chapter
my
three
peak.
is still my favorite. I think
I
that's what
think
I decided,
overall as
right?
a whole, yeah,
Was
Halle
that the
Berry
one
is
with Halle Berry?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Then
Parabellum.
chapter three. Yeah.
I think overall 3 as a whole is a better movie, but I think there are moments in chapter 4 that I think overtake moments in 3 for me still. But that's my number 5.
My number 5 comes in at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the only Marvel movie so far to make this list. I have a strong feeling, just because how many things I love about, like, in the Marvels, that the Marvels, it has to be pretty bad for it to not make my top 10 list.
Hmm.
Honestly, I'm really shocked that Guardians made it over Ant-Man, because I really did like Ant-Man. But I decided I really just need to pick one Marvel movie, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is just objectively a better Marvel movie than Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Just objectively speaking. Visually, camera work, writing,
Story,
acting, story,
villain, character development.
just everything. And I think the beautiful thing about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is I walked out thinking that's a phenomenal movie. And there was great realizations afterwards. After I watched everybody talk about it and deep dive into it, there's just so many little moments that I didn't pick up on the first time that now I know and I understand and
The
like I
f- the final moment with Groot at the
yeah,
end of the movie
not
is
Groot.
just
I hate that.
yeah,
I think this is like one of my least favorite moments in the entire MCU.
Do you understand why it happens?
Yeah, I just really well, we talked about this. We talked about it in the spoiler review. We don't need to talk about it here. But my first like, and also it has one of my favorite action sequences in all of the MCU. So not it's not number one. I think there are better ones in the MCU, but it's definitely in the top 10 for that franchise for sure.
So my number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This movie works fundamentally on every level that a proper MCU movie should. Every level. But to me, this movie would not work if Rocket was not as good as he is. This is this movie makes me re-advocate for digital work in movie because the way Sean Gunn and Bradley Cooper bring this character together should be recognized in award season. It really should. I felt this way since Andy Serkis was Caesar. They deserve recognition for the performances and work that they do in this movie. They really, 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 really do. Because Bradley Cooper makes that movie to me. He is the overall thing that holds that film together. And there is a scene with him screaming that I will never forget seeing in the theater for the first time. It kills me. It sucks, but it's such a powerful character moment. I want to cry now. It hit me on such a deep level, and I hate the high evolutionary with everything in my being, and that's because of how well the actor does in the movie. I and Groot. That's all I gotta say is Groot. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, Guardians is my favorite Marvel movie of the year,
All right.
easily.
My number 4 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I've already pretty much talked on how I feel about this movie, the reason why this movie is where it's at and things. Objectively speaking, I don't think the top three all I had equally great time when we jump into the top three of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the only one in this list that I definitely don't think will make my top 10, but I definitely see it dropping lower in the top 10 as we progress throughout the year. I would be really shocked if it doesn't end up. Like, I feel like if I had to pick one animated movie so far this year that stands out from all the rest, it's definitely Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. So that's why it made number 4. It's just I didn't love it as much as the top three. And I know for a fact my number 2 is going to piss a lot of people off that it beat Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse. And I am sorry, but objective opinions here.
So I've been sitting here with our list, and I'm switching my 3 and 2
Okay,
because I think I appreciate my number 3 more than number 2. Number 3 for me is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
okay,
Um, it's still my favorite animated movie of the year. It's not my favorite Marvel movie of the year, but it's my favorite animated movie of the year. And we already talked about it, so I won't go in it again. This movie is incredible, emotional, gets you in all the right moments, and makes you feel, which um, most of the which an anime movie should, and I think it hits on all those right cylinders. So that's why it's number 3 for me is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
all right. Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, my number 3 is Extraction 2. Um, this has been a really highly anticipated movie for me. I loved the first one. I didn't love it like as much as some people loved like Extraction when it came out. It definitely was one of the better action movies that Netflix had produced, but I definitely it wasn't like my favorite. And then the trailer came out, the teaser trailer came out for Extraction 2, and I was blown away. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on, okay, what are we doing here? And then the trailer came out, and I was just like, okay, what are we doing here? And then I watched it, and I was like, oh my god. In my opinion, personally, this is how you do an action movie the way I like them. You have the high octane action with the big set pieces. They're not as big, actually. I would say they're smaller than like an average movie, but it's still really well done. The camera
Hmm.
work is the camera work is phenomenal. The action is they only stays its welcome as long as it's needed, and then it goes away. Then we have dramatic scenes that are played out beautifully, in my opinion, with characters that are still very lovable from the first one. That's why it's very much important. Why I told Zachary he needs to watch the first one before he watches the second one. Truly is a sequel. You have to see both to really get the right. And then I will just say right here, the thing that put this movie above John Wick Chapter 4, because we're talking about action movies, in particular these type of action movies, is the 20-minute long take. It is a sight to behold. I obviously have seen so many long takes in my life that I can figure out where the little cuts and stuff are, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from its beauty. There are certain things that it does with the camera and the places that it ends up going and things like that. Um, like I'm just excited for Zachary to experience it for the first time, and that alone, depending on how he feels about the movie, I have a very strong feeling he'll walk away just liking the fact that he got to see that and experience that type of thing.
I'm
And to
excited.
me, that part right there was
Fun
better
fact:
than.
I am watching Extraction 1 tonight.
Well, good. Like I said, Extraction 1 has like one or two moments are as this, but it's very important for story reasons for you to see the first one. They do a somewhat job explaining, but it's not good enough to say you can just jump into the sequel.
So, my number 2 is my big shock of the year. I was not expecting this to be in my top 10 because I thought the trailers for this looked really good. I love the director of this movie. However, I have not liked a lot since a certain film. But now that I've seen it, this is easily going to be in my top two of the top, easily in my either my number one or my number two spot going into the end of the year if it stays, and that's Air.
Oh,
I absolutely love this movie. This movie reminds me why Ben Affleck is such a fucking good director. This has absolutely incredible performances from Chris Tucker, from Patrick Bateman, from uh, crap, Ben Affleck, from Viola Davis, Matt Damon. That's the other one I was looking for. Matt Damon. They are all tremendous. There are some great just one-on-one scenes between these actors just acting the shit. And there is a monologue at the end from Matt Damon, Viola Davis that'll break your heart and also raise your spirits. This is a feel-good movie. You already know the outcome. You know what happens with these shoes, but it's the art of watching these people practically take a heist of trying to get this kid to sign with them, and it's riveting. It's awesome. It's funny. This is my favorite Chris Tucker movie I've ever seen. He is so good in this movie. But it's my Viola Davis and Matt Damon really shine, and Ben Affleck's directing is great. I love this movie. Cannot recommend it enough. I recommend it to you just for just a really good story to go watch. It's a great movie to watch if you're a writer, because the script of this movie is fantastic. Great movie. My shock of the year.
all right. Now we're up to the final two for me. I'm sure Zachary's trying to figure out which one of the movies
Where
I've not
where
mentioned,
yeah,
where do
because I'm
they
like,
fall?
I'm like, it's gotta either be it. There's no way when I'm thinking it cannot be number one. It'd be nuts if it's not. But if it's
So
number two, I have to know what was your number one.
number two is Fast X.
Okay, yep, I knew exactly. Yep.
We'll talk about why number one is number one when we get there, but number two is Fast X. This has a lot of. I understand. Okay, I know people are gonna be like this. This is a bad choice. You're making it wrong. Dante alone is good enough for a spot number two in my personal opinion, but how Zachary is explaining how he felt when he watched Transformers for the first time, that this movie had to be good. Like it doesn't matter if it was good or bad; it had to be good. Fast X had to be good. It had to be a movie that made me speechless, that made me happy, enjoyable, like eyes on the screen the entire time. And it could not be that movie. And I can say it was. I called Zachary right after I saw it. My face was beaming. I was on cloud nine. I was in the
That
best
was
mood of
me.
my entire life. Because it had to be good. It could not be good. My top two movies of the year had to be good, and they both
Same.
were fucking spectacular. Fast X has, like I said, one of my favorite villains of the year. Sure, is he like a direct ripoff of the Joker? For sure. I 110% agree with all those theories outside. But do I care? No, because Jason Momoa eats up the screen time like it's nothing. Like it's just like he's just doing it on an average day, which is kind of scary, but it's fine. And there's like 2 or 3 action sequences in that movie that are breathtaking, in my opinion, when it comes to Fast and Furious. Sure, the visuals could be better. I would agree, but it ends on such a killer cliffhanger that like I need the sequel.
Did you realize you're going to see a similar location in Mission Impossible that you saw in Fast X again?
Yes, I did. It's the hard part about filming a movie, and you know what? It's fine. I'm moving on from it. I'm sure Mission Impossible, to be fair, will do it better because I would say I hate to say that, but I do have to say that that particular sequence that you're talking about was not filmed to the best of its ability. Still cool, but not filmed to the best of its ability.
I will let you go again with your number one, and I'll do my number one.
No, you next. I'm last. Keep going.
So my number one, shock to nobody, is Rise of the Beasts. This is my
Really?
again. I said it. I said it in this recording, and I'll say it here again. This movie needed to be good. It couldn't have just been great. It couldn't have been okay. It had to be good, and they hit all the cylinders. I said everything I need to say. This is everything I wanted it to be and more. I got this. I got to experience Transformers, Beast Wars, and G1 in perfect style, and it can't be beat. This movie is perfect. I love this movie to death. I can't get enough of it. I really can't. I'm watching it again before I go to bed after Extraction. I love this movie.
I'm really curious to see where it ends up
Oh, so
when
am I.
when we come back in 6 months from now, when we're coming back for our January podcast and we're talking about it, type of thing. I'm really
Hmm.
curious to see where our
Where it
top
lies at the end.
movies, yeah, where our lies. Actually, we'll probably come together and make a video for our top 10 movies and stuff. We might not even do it in a podcast. We might just make it separate. We'll
Hmm.
talk about that's a different day conversation.
Again,
This is what happens when we do things randomly. My number one movie of the year, if you have been following this podcast at all while we've been covering over the past few months, you would know that there's been a movie that is the movie to beat for me. And that movie still has yet to be beat, and that is Scream 6.
that was my number 8.
Scream Scream 6 is perfection. Truly, I mean, yes, do some of the ghost face reveals annoy me? For sure. But because they're trying to do a similar copycat to Scream 2, everything makes sense without spoilers here. But Sam, as a character, I just love so much. The setting of New York was so fresh, so lively and inviting, and how violent and how unhinged the ghost face is in this movie is
It's
a sight to
awesome.
be. And I'm the opening. I will have to say, as I have seen the opening several more times, since I reviewed it way back when, it does get a little tiresome. It's not as cool as it is the first time, but that first experience will never not be beaten. And Kirby's back. Do I love what they do with her here? No, I don't. It's the only like disappointing aspect of the movie is the way they handle Kirby Reed. But it's Hayden Panettiere's first acting role in like 11 years. So I will call a spade and just be okay with what I got. And it was perfect. And that's so far the movie to beat. I have a strong feeling, though, to be honest with you, with the movies coming up in the next month, next 2 months, by the end of the year, that I don't think Scream 6 will be my top movie of the year. I
Hmm.
do think it'll be my top five. I
Oh,
think there are movies coming up that will beat it for sure.
Transformers will be in my top 5. Did you realize something?
Hmm.
Both our number one movies come from the same company.
Yeah, Paramount, fucking great.
They're killing it, man.
Like I said,
Fucking
Thursday, I have a
killing it.
strong feeling. If it is anywhere near as close to being as amazing Fallout is, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning could be. It could beat it on third. I could walk out of that theater being like, God damn, we just recorded that podcast.
And then my other most anticipated movie for the summer is a Paramount film as well, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And
Paramount.
I have a lot of
It's
movies
just a
that
little,
are.
Just a little
I'm
claws, Paramount.
anticipating. Yeah, Paramount's doing great. Great. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons. Paramount took that risk. Just saying. Paramount, I tell you, doing great. Great day.
Air was out by Amazon, but you know what its parent company was? Paramount.
Well, I will also say that I have a feeling like Barbie could also, be a surprise number one hit for me.
Oppenheimer for me could be a surprise for me as well.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling I'm going to really enjoy the aspects of Oppenheimer, but I don't think it will make my top 10
The
list.
cast alone makes me super excited
I agree.
for
I
that
agree.
one.
There's a lot of reason why I'm excited for Oppenheimer. I just don't know if it's a movie that would make my top 10 list. But like we just talked about, Bottoms, I have a strong feeling could be, in the
Hmm.
top 5 movies of the year for me. Like there's like a lot of movies coming up that I'm like super duper anticipating that could be really high.
We've
Color
got a good second half
Purple.
of the year.
There's so many. But
Wonka,
now
Beetle possibly.
now that we're here, we have to talk. Now we talked about nothing but great things. How about we talk about those clunkers? And this can be anything. So these are the worst things we've seen. I ain't want to personally put these in categories of movies and
Dad says hi.
oh hi.
We're still recording.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Ooh, yeah. Dad says he loves you.
I love him too. You can tell me that later. And so let's talk about the worst things we've seen this year. New to us. It cannot be a repeat worst viewing just because we do somewhat subject to ourselves of repeat worst viewings.
I already have my two, and it hasn't changed.
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk it out.
Fucking Dragon Ball Evolution and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Good God.
We have commentaries to those in case you want to see our
We
reaction.
do. We do.
I had a headache for 3 days after going into Poop Blood and Honey. I had a headache.
Dragon Ball Evolution is a piece of shit, but Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is the piece of shit that's on top of Dragon Ball Evolution.
I don't necessarily know if I agree. I don't know
No,
which one's worse.
Winnie the Pooh's worse.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I gotta think about that whole
Jacob,
entire movie.
do we really
But
have to discuss that?
I like the arc of the one character though.
No.
Did I not like the
Jacob,
whole arc? Am I skipping things?
Jacob, why are you trying to redeem Winnie the Pooh? Why?
I so strongly agree. If this was a short film, it would be phenomenal.
It would.
It's not.
It's fucking terrible. I have not seen anything this year that bad.
I have. So
why?
So let's go ahead and let's discuss it. Let's talk about the pop star in the room. Why don't we? So I did subjugate myself to the idol, and I have not been able to talk about it on the podcast. But I feel like if I put myself through the 5 hours of that television show, I should at least get some pension for it and talk about it somewhere.
Why am I the victim here?
I'm sorry. It just happens to be. It's the worst things we've seen. To be fair, idol.
But at least my two we got to enjoy together.
Yeah, that sucks for you. You're going to get to hear a little review of The Idol Season 1. I just watched 3, 4, and 5 the other morning because I was bored and I didn't have anything else to do, and I decided I'll just finish it because it's only 5 episodes. How bad could it be? So, here's the thing. I'm going to spoil The Idol. I don't recommend it, but I will spoil it here because I can't really tell you how bad The Idol is without talking about oh my god, look at that twist ending. That was atrocious. Okay, it was up there with Game of Thrones season 8 level atrociousness that I had to experience again. I never thought I would experience Game of Thrones season 8 level atrociousness twice in my lifetime.
And again, from HBO.
From HBO, I know, right? Like, what the
sad.
fuck? Yeah. So, other than the fact that The Weeknd cannot act,
your favorite shows from HBO and your worst things from HBO. You are such a relationship with them. You Warner Brothers, man. You need to really get your shit together.
And I was looking forward. It was not. I don't want you to think I went into this thinking I'm going to hate this. I went thinking that this could be something that I could enjoy. I don't mind racy scenes or anything, even though the sex is probably the worst part of the show and it's not necessary. If there was no sex, the TV show wouldn't be any different. So I don't really know why it's there. So, like, there is a fight to say. But the Weeknd can't act. He should not. Oh, He should not have been casted. It should have been somebody else. I don't understand why he's there. There's no reason for him to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, if you don't know what The Idol is about, it's about a pop star named Jocelyn who ends up inviting someone named um, I don't even want to call him Matteo. Tedros, that's the name. She ends up buying Tedros into her house, and he takes over her entire life, and she's like this pop star who's like really down, and some other shit happens or whatever. And I love how the stream is just like totally being like, stop talking about it, we're breaking.
Even the stream realizes
You find
not
this kind
today.
of funny.
We've been great these past 4 hours, but then then the
And
stream was like, you
basically,
know what? No.
yeah. And so basically, like the whole point of the relationship is to show like she's in this like cult, like toxic relationship type of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
the final episode is no, she's had the upper hand the whole time. She's actually worse than him. And some of the things that I had to witness and go through that I will declare as torture porn right here on the internet, no, this is wrong. This is not character development. This isn't shock value. This isn't, oh my god, I'm playing a fabulous female character. No, this sets back female characters 10 years just like Daenerys did. This is where I'm at. Jocelyn is not as good of a character, obviously, as Danny. Danny had 8 years of building up growth, but Jocelyn was a likable because Lily Rose Depp was likable enough to play a character that could have been as good as
Was she good?
she was phenomenal. She's the reason why I'd recommend it. She's like I'm so mad. Okay, one, I'm mad at the ending. There's no reason for it. There's literal no reason except for shock value. It's so fucking stupid. It pissed me off so deeply. I was watching it unfold, and I was like, "You better don't do it. Don't pick up that hairbrush." And if you've seen it, you understand what I mean. Don't pick up that hairbrush. And then he did, and then he said his line, and I'm like, "No, this is not television. This is not what I paid for. This is not what you paid for. HBO, what the fuck?" And then you get the set photos and like the scripts release for the original TV show, and it's like this 90s pop funk that would be so much fun and so cute. No sex at all, just like a pop star living its best life, and you're just like, what the actual motherfucking shit are we doing today? Sorry. I'm sorry. I got a little
So
aggressive,
Jacob,
but I was really mad.
can you say that this is probably the worst thing that the guy who made this has done?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because here's the thing: Sam Levinson, I'm a big fan of. I hate to say it, the guy is a little bit of a creep, but he makes really good shit. I loved Malcolm and Marie. It's so good. I personally really enjoyed that movie. Zach really liked it. Um, Assassination Nation is still like one of my favorite movies. Very niche, deals with a lot of adult shit. Very triggering movie, but I really loved it. I love that has a one shot in it that's fucking spectacular. Still
And
a
then
reason why.
Euphoria.
And then I love Euphoria. Euphoria itself, objectively, there's a lot of things wrong with it, but I don't care. I can like what I like for whatever reason it might be. And I relate to a lot that Euphoria goes through. That's part of the reason why a lot of people get pissed off because they don't want to know their teenagers are actually dealing with Euphoria. And sure, I don't really know if season 2 is pretty accurate to like high school life, but season 1 was very accurate to especially the school that I went to, that I grew up in, like in type of thing. Which really sucks.
Yeah.
No comment on that one, but I'm just saying it was very accurate to the life of a high schooler at that time. Um, so yeah, this is by far he should never have been called. He shouldn't have touched it. It shouldn't. No, I feel bad because Lily Rose Depp did such a phenomenal job that she deserves an Emmy nomination. That's how well she does in this show. She carries it on her shoulders like it's nothing. I really hope that I'm happy she's in the new vampire movie with William Dafoe, with the person who did
Nosferatu.
Lighthouse. Thank you. I'm happy that she was the person who got cast in the place of Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's going to do a fucking phenomenal job
I
there.
can't wait for that.
I'm happy that she's working on other things that can hopefully give her better credit. So this is not going to tarnish her career. Yes.
If you want something really good with Lily Rose Depp in it, go watch Yoga Hosers.
I actually hate Yoga Hosers, but
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I think it's fun. It's a fun movie. Her and Harley
Yeah.
Quinn do really well together.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was my first experience while experiencing Lily Rose Depp. And also, I hate to say it, the songs are bad from The Idol, but they're like bad enough that I continue to listen to them.
They make you want to do this.
They do, and I feel kind of ashamed for doing it, but I continue going back, and it's just the honest answer. There's too many people in it that I love for me not to watch, but the things that they did,
The weekend really ruined that for you, huh? And
Zachary,
you like the weekend's music.
Zachary, I have a job assignment for you, just to
No.
experience something. I need you after this is over, because it's not appropriate to look up right now, to
No.
look up end of season 1 or end of episode 1 weekend and Lily Rose Depp scene. It's truly one of the worst things I've experienced this year.
No.
Like, I can't get that time back. And
I watched a bear whip a human with Eeyore's tail. I'm good. I don't want to see anything that worse anymore. I'm fine.
like, I mean, just his line reading for the scene alone, it's like if you had someone read E.L. James porn, but they couldn't read.
Jacob, can I ask you a question? Is this as bad as The Happening?
No,
Like,
I'd
that's
say
like,
this is better than The Happening, because here's the thing, like the first like 3 episodes or whatever, I enjoyed myself. I was like, I'm curious to see where this is going. Like, it's not horrible. It's the twist that she was like in on the whole thing. That's the part that I think is just super fucked up, and it ruins the entire thing. It like
well, man, I really wanted to watch this show, and you ruined it for me. I guess I can't watch it anymore.
oh boohoo. For movie, I'd also go with Zachary was saying Winnie the Pooh. Dragon Ball Evolution was okay up until the end, and then it was just like got awful. But Winnie the Pooh was bad from like minute 12 from onward.
It has its moment at the beginning with the really cool
Drawn opening,
animation drawing opening, but then it just, good God.
As soon as they bring in a set of
Winnie the
girls,
Pooh?
no. As soon as the second storyline began, we both looked at each other and said, "Is this really what this movie is about?"
Because it makes no sense.
Very much being like,
and
wouldn't
listen,
it should be so much more simpler just to talk about like. Also,
I want to put Ghosted on this list, but I can't overall put that list. Put the movie on this list because for one scene, that's not fair to the movie. But it should be here.
You know what? Zachary won't do it, but I'll do it. I'll be the bad guy. It seems like that's my job on this channel. I will personally be.
Ghosted should be on this list.
I don't. It's the
Parachute.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Wig.
no way around it.
Two reasons. I'll give you 2 reasons why Ghosted should be on this. Wig and Parachute. Watch the movie and find out.
I forgot about the first.
I will never get over the fact when they do the jump forward at the end of the movie without any spoilers, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And there was a change to a character and how much better the jump forward was. Like, how much better the last, 4 minutes of the movie was 10 times better in my brain just because of, one tiny little asterisk. It made a huge difference. And that was a movie that I was really looking forward to, that I was like, it could be really good. It could have been. It was not. Okay. That's okay. I've seen enough good spy movies this year. More to come.
Will never, ever forget us sitting there with that.
I just. Sorry, guys. If you guys haven't seen the movie, I'm going to talk about one thing because it's just so funny and it is a spoiler. It's probably about halfway through the film. I'm going to say.
It's the halfway mark.
So just move on to what we've been watching. This is the last thing we're talking about. So just move on to the next section of chapter times. Or if you're listening to it audibly, I don't know how to help you. I'm very sorry.
But listen, we're doing a service for you. We're letting you know this now, so you don't have to worry about watching it.
I will never forget being on that plane, watching that movie, and then being on that plane and looking at you, being like, "Oh my god, they can't afford it," and then not doing like the actuality of me being like, he grabbed the parachute. They don't have the money to jump out of that plane. And then their face a fucking block.
And we end up on the beach.
And it's like days later, and they have a fighter in a tent, and I'm just like,
and she's being healed after the stab. And they were like, we don't even get that.
Like, I'm sorry. I've seen really really bad B movies that probably have made like kind of like $1 million to their name, they still did the parachute scene.
Again, I brought this up during the commentary, and I'll bring it up here. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie from 1993, had them skydiving out of a plane, but Ghosted from 2023 with better visual effects than MMPR 1993 could not do a
Yeah,
parachute scene.
you threw them so far into that blue screen, you couldn't put them on the blue screen on a wire? Like, what?
They're not even in the sky, and you couldn't let them jump out of a green screen.
Either way.
It's the funniest moment of the year.
Moving on. It was truly special. It makes the commentary worth it
It does.
for that movie. It did make the commentary like truly
It's
worth
so
it.
bad. Cats as a whole film. It was able to be made, but they couldn't jump out of a plane.
Okay. Moving onward, Zachary, what have you been watching?
Okay, I've been watching Torture Games and Ninja Turtles. That's exactly what I've been watching. So over the weekend, I watched almost all of Rise of the TMNT with my little sister. We watched Ninja Turtles 1 and Ninja Turtles 2. Those movies are great. She loved them, made me happy. But I also started this little show called Alice in Borderland.
Oh,
This show, wow. I got no other words. But it just makes you realize how stupid humanity is. If you would just focus on little details, you would realize we wouldn't have to go that far. No one would have to just, die. But, we're so hanged up on ourselves, it doesn't really work that way. Really good show.
okay. Well, that was quick and short. Enjoyed that.
Oh, I also just watched Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So,
And Guardians?
no, no,
No,
I
you
didn't
didn't
watch
watch it.
Guardians. No.
Oh, okay. Should have, but that's your choice. I have been. I watched 12 The Idol, but I think I talked about that one.
Really? What's that?
It's a horrible show. Don't recommend. So I also I moved on to Mission Impossibles. I started with Mission Impossible 3, which I've already seen. I've already seen all the Mission Impossible movies. I'm just recatching up for Dead Reckoning. So I started Mission Impossible 3, which was a mixed bag. Like parts of it are phenomenal, but also parts of it are not. It's like it truly is like one of those movies where you just keep watching. You're like, oh, this is when it's going to get really good, and it's not, and then it gets really good.
Hoffman alone is why you
Oh yeah,
watch that movie.
that's true. Then I watched Ghost Protocol, and it truly was a letdown. I just think the visuals were just not as strong, and I think it works better when there's like low VFX usage in the movie. Um, Rogue Nation, on the other hand, is like one of the best action movies.
It's so good.
I mean, here's the thing: I was about to say ever made, but I know that like when I watch Fallout tonight, like in like 30 minutes, I know that it's going to be beat. I know for a fact that I'm going to sit down and watch Fallout and think to myself, oh my God, I was wrong. This is better than Rogue Nation. And that's crazy. And then knowing that I'll walk out at Dead Reckoning just 2 days from now thinking, oh my God, you did top Fallout, which I said when I got done watching Fallout for the first time. No Mission Impossible movie could ever top my experience while seeing that for the first time. The amount of cold chills for my body in the third act of that movie alone. Just saying. So I've been watching Mission Impossible movies. Don't get started. I'm so excited. It's gonna be so good. TV shows. Newest ones are we're watching Secret Invasion. We'll cover that in the next. We'll cover that in the next set of podcasts. So you'll get to hear our things and thoughts about it. And I've also been watching Dead City. Thank you. I said Dead Nation, but at this point, that's basically what it is. Dead City, which decided to turn zombies into drugs, which was an interesting choice. And that's all I really got on that one. But it's been fun. But it was a little weird.
What now?
Oh, you mean the zombies and the drug aspect? Is that what you're wanting?
Yeah, no, that's what's got me clicked in my head. Like, what?
I can't really talk about it without spoilers, so
Then
sorry.
don't tell me.
But just know that zombies, I guess, release a fun toxin, and that's all I really got for you. It was a weird concept that worked out really well for the TV show, oddly enough. Has a phenomenal villain too. I really like the betrayal of the villain. And there's a scene with Negan that truly was just fucking perfection. Waiting for my Maggie scene that's perfection. Haven't gotten yet, but I still think it's coming. So okay.
That man can do no wrong.
I love
Anything he
Jeffrey Dean
is
Morgan.
in, anything he's in, is just. If you guys have never seen the movie called The Losers, go watch The Losers. Really good time.
Yeah, because when we come back in August, I'll be talking about Zoe Saldana again, which is great. She's in a brand new TV show that starts on the 24th.
Chris Evans. Talked about him from Ghosted. Again, if you've never seen The Losers, go watch The Losers. It's really good.
It's really weird of how many of our favorite movies just contain our favorite actors. We really just have a problem. I'm so excited for Rebecca Ferguson. I'm so excited to see her in Mission Impossible. See, this is the part that makes me so anxious. I'm really excited for Ariel well as well.
I'm excited for her because this is her first time to really shine outside of the MCU. I know Haley Atwell's a great actress, but this will be her first time commanding her own role because I love Agent Carter, but I want to see her really shine. I heard her and Tom have great chemistry together.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm
All right. Well, Zachary.
What a roller coaster of emotions these two podcasts have been. Thank you guys very much for enjoying us for June. This is probably my most anticipated month for podcasting was this month because a lot happened and we saw a lot of shit. So this has been a really, really crazy month. July could be the same. Who knows? But we'll see you then.
I'm going to have at least 3 movies to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. And so, make sure you guys like, rate, subscribe, ringling that dingling bell. Let us know in the comment section below. He never gets tired of it. I'll never stop saying it. Let us know in the comment section down below what was your favorite movie of June, your favorite story of this month, what stood out to you. And as always, make sure to check out the audio version of this podcast over on every other social media platform and audio platform. You get exclusive over there, including the Emmys. Will they happen? We'll find out tomorrow. So we'll see you then. As always, bye, guys.